So going all the way back to November 2021, my idea method has not changed. It's true that many people don't want to accept it, but in order for a new gadget to be introduced, the old one has to break. The United States keeps letting the fuse burn by inflating the US dollar, which is causing a structural surprise to build up in the world economy. The value of crypto will go up as we move into a virtual change. And even here, going back even further to June 3rd, it was said that the FDIC only said that 63 banks are about to go bankrupt. I used this quote and said, records doesn't repeat, it rhymes, and what's going on makes 2008 look small while banks were first going down in March. I said that euro would be closed, and I've said it many times this year as well. The banking problem is just getting started. This problem is only going to get worse and worse, but that is the plan. All of the big banks are merging so that the big banks, like JP Morgan, Citi, Bank of America, and others can eat our lunch. This is also paving the way for the general systemic reset, which I've talked about in many events. Now that we know this, let's look at some things that are happening right now. The US debt has now reached $36 trillion, which is a new all-time high. The US national debt has now reached $36 trillion just a few months after it reached $35 trillion in July. It's making its case as the biggest debt of country in history even stronger. The main reasons for this are rising interest rates, rising costs for Social Security and Medicare, and growing budget shortfalls. Interest costs paid by the federal government now go over the budget for protecting Medicare. Economists say that by 2027, the debt could reach 106% of GDP, which would be a huge percentage and break records set during World War II. And that's very interesting. It's time to talk about the debt problem. It doesn't matter what you try to say about it, the United States is in the middle of a debt crisis, which is a clear time bomb for the rest of the world since the dollar is still the reserve currency. As this does, you understand, get pushed. What else do we see? Texas wants to fight with fiat money by introducing subsidized gold and silver currencies. We are now talking. Gold and silver-backed money could be exchanged for specie or at the current price of gold in a screenback less any necessary fees. To make things even stranger, we know that Texas was trying to move this along a little earlier, back around the start of the hour. A lot of countries in the area are really pushing for currencies that are backed by gold. That is definitely going to keep getting bigger and bigger. I mean, big banks have been buying up huge amounts of gold, huge amounts of gold, huge amounts of gold over the last couple of years. That is probably going to stay the same, especially since gold will play a bigger role in the world's money system. As we move into the digital age, I think we'll also see digital currencies backed by gold, which is what we're going to talk about. But right now, we have my chat with Judy Shelton. To me, that's why I say we could do the prize bond idea, and I'm probably going to have to stop now. But one thing I do talk about in the book is a way to support the idea that Ronald Reagan first put forward in the 1980s. Unless we have some kind of purpose backing for the dollar, we will never be able to fully control inflation. He also said, as president, my goal could be to make the dollar the most trusted currency in the world, and I hope that the next president will remember that and work to make it happen using the cutting-edge technology, which is very exciting and getting better all the time. And this is exactly what is happening. Listen up, technology based on blockchain is being used all over the world. We talk to each other about XRP. There's a lot of talk about Ripple because it was one of the first to use this version. People have been using the XRP ledger and XRP for more than 10 years now. But gold-backed currencies will play a big part. In fact, there was a paper talking about this. It said that we've tokenized gold, which means that you could divide it up into different weights and that they revalue gold. So there is a set price for that exact weight. After that, you back key bank virtual currencies or digital currencies and buy that gold. Now, those could be in terms of digital currencies and main banks. Retailers wouldn't deal with virtual currencies or main bank currencies. They could be the backup currencies that those countries use for short-term deals. They could be the private-based money. Coins that are stable could be used as public money. It's exciting to think that people are starting to agree that the Federal Reserve shouldn't make a main bank or digital currency, but we should have stable coins. Both of them are the exact same part. The most useful difference is that one is printed with help from the Federal Reserve. While the other one is given out by personal companies, it is still possible to program them. America and Ripple and Stella. The Department of the Treasury. Now, I think that Algorand was here as well as Circle and Chainlink. This did happen in April, though. This turned into a roundtable talk with Nellie Liang, who is the Undersecretary for Domestic Finance at the U.S. Department of the Treasury. talk about the technical and legal requirements for improving the old features of large amounts of bank cash, looking at the effects on purchases, sellers, and businesses in terms of capacity and capacity. They also talked about a long-term plan for bringing CBDC's tokenization and safe coins to the rest of the US monetary ecosystem, as well as perks for economic growth and resilience. Pay attention because the US has already been making plans. They were getting ready for this. Now, how will we officially get you to agree that the old economic system broke down? How did we officially get the big reset? The leaders had been planning this for a while. A lot of people have been talking about Chinese hackers and the cyber war. It is, in fact, happening right now for an instance breaking. Chinese hackers are ready to fight in cyberspace. US cyber cops said Beijing's hackers are getting into important buildings, power lines, water supplies, and even telecommunications companies are ready to switch over if war breaks out. So it looks like 2025 will be the year of a big cyber attack that will destroy systems. In fact, this article says that 86% of business leaders and 93% of cybersecurity experts think that unstable international politics will likely cause a major cyber attack in the next few years. Very interesting. Another thing is that the World Economic Forum has been asking for a cyber pandemic. It's going to be an online attack. Not only is this much bigger and worse than COVID, but they have also been kind of hinting at cyber attacks for a while now. Going back to May of this year, cyber attacks put the world's economy at risk of not being stable. The IMF is giving us a good warning. Take note of these things. And even within this, cyber attacks in the financial area are a major threat to the security of the world's money. Cybersecurity risks and the losses they cause are especially high in the economic zone. Primary automotive outages are also common. Cyber attacks could put financial institutions at risk, make operations less reliable, and hurt the overall security of the economy. That's the IMF again. Any other high-level company was basically tied to the World Economic Forum and told, hey, we need to get ready for these cyber threats. There will be a cyber attack, and it will be very big. But remember what those big games were asking for. This is the attitude. When Polaris released its high-level design guide for offline payments based on CBDCs in October 2023, it became the most important bank for valuable banks. There is no paper here. And even here, they talk about chance ways using new technology like blockchain and DLT. Some people will say things like, oh, blockchain and DLT are so last year. As soon as the power goes out, they're gone. There are still some of these networks that can work with radio broadcasting. In the end, it's not all about power when we think about it. Not everything is based on you realizing energy. It is possible for these networks to keep trading even with radio waves, stay alive and take care of those bills. However, why are they getting ready for bills to be sent by mail? Even the IMF is stopping to use digital currencies in September 2022. Why have they been getting ready for this? The reason for this is that they are also getting ready for a cyber attack. As you may know, it will really stop all buildings in their tracks. If this is true, and the leaders have been pushing for a cyber attack, it will definitely be one of the worst events in history. Then they push for virtual currencies, which will also be unavailable. Where does that leave us?